This is ANN News Brief.
The Economic Community of West African States says it has lifted sanctions imposed on Mali following the military coup on August 18th that ousted President Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta. The crippling sanctions on landlocked Mali were lifted following the nomination of retired Colonel Bandao as interim president and Mokhtar Owen as prime minister of an 18-month transition period to democracy. Leaders of the West African Regional Bloc said in a statement signed by the chairman of ECOWAS on Tuesday that taking into account the notable progress made in Mali towards a constitutional normalization, the heads of state have decided to lift the sanctions. ECOWAS has also called on partners to support Mali. Meanwhile, Mali's transitional leaders announced a new government on Monday, with some of the top posts going to military officials. A new COVID-19 guideline has shown that the virus could spread beyond 6 feet. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, said coronavirus is now airborne. America CDC says in its updated guidelines there is evidence that under certain conditions, people with COVID-19 could infect those who are more than 6 feet away. The conditions listed include enclosed spaces that had inadequate ventilation and when an infected person is breathing heavily while singing or exercising. The updated report states that those with COVID-19 infected others shortly after leaving an area. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization says the main way the virus spreads is through close contact with virus-containing droplets, large and small, that are emitted when someone coughs, sneezes, sings, talks, or breathes. So WHO says when people are in proximity within 6 feet, they are exposed to the whole spectrum of spray that can cause infection. To avoid further spread of COVID-19, people have been advised to wear masks when in public settings, observe social distancing of at least 2 meters apart, and sanitize. We'll be right back.
Whether in your house, at your office, on your phone or online, we are there. We have the facts behind the headlines. We cut to the chase with the news you really need. We cover every angle. We are the bigger, better news network. We are African News Network. ANN. Watch ANN News on MITV from a truly African spirit.
Kenyan government says final year students in primary and secondary schools are set to resume learning next week. Final year students in colleges and universities have returned to classes this week. Education Minister George Magoha said grade 4, class 8 and form 4 students will resume learning to begin preparing for national examinations. The Education Ministry had scrapped the entire 2020 academic year because of the coronavirus pandemic and said schools will resume in January 2021. The minister later said after consultations, it had agreed that reopening should begin progressively starting mid-October. The institution's administrators were told to come up with a plan on when the rest of the students will resume. That is ANN News Brief at 10. For details on these and other breaking stories, visit our website, annafrica.news. Conversation continues on our social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at ANN Africa TV. I'm Lucy Adeyemi.